CQ Photo. Well, hey guys, it's Tango Oscar Mike, and I'm going to be building a kit. This is the QRP Labs QRP dummy load. It's a 50 ohm, 20 watt dummy load. So let's open this up and take a look. So I did open this up already to look at it, and off camera, this comes as one circuit board, and you have to snap it together. It was like this, and you have to snap it apart. And I know people like to peel that plastic off of LCD screens. Let me tell you, that was more satisfying. So basically you get a top and a bottom. They're identical. You get a bunch of resistors. You get this little capacitor, and you get that little, I believe that's a diode. So basically you put all the resistors through the holes on one side, and then you put the top on, and you get a nice little square dummy load. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in this BNC connector. There's two holes for the BNC connector right there. And that pops right into place. And now I have to solder it there. Oh, turn on the soldering iron. So these, well, they just pull right out of the paper, but I don't want to kink them. And I am not the first person to make contacts from a snow igloo. The famous Steve, WG0AT, the famous soda activator, did a video back in 2008, I believe. But in 2007, there was an article posted of him doing the same thing, but he had his original call sign, which I can't remember off the top of my head. It was like NU or N1TU, something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head. And so, but he's the only person that I can find referenced of doing it where there's actual photo or video. Other people have said they've done it, and I totally believe them. I know it's not an original idea, but it was fun to do, and I hope everybody enjoyed it. So what I'll do for this is I'll solder the two pins, and then I'll solder these two big pins that are just for holding it in place, and those are the actual connections. So let's check my soldering iron. Poke it in a little. I'm gonna clean that up. That looks good. That's the big one. Let's do the little one. Let's see. Looks good. Not a, you know what? Give me my little holder here. I'm gonna try to do this right. And that's in there pretty tight. I don't think I have to hold that part of it. That's good. flow around that good, but it's just like going to the top of it. That's good. I don't think it's going anywhere. All right. Flip this over. And you just start putting those through. And I'm wondering if it's easier to, I think I'm going to do it this way. So let's just put these all through. Actually, there's these two little components which I think I'm going to do first because they're very tiny. And let me just double check. Yeah, so this one goes here. Go in the hole. The hole is your home. So you can just push that down, bend these over to hold it in place. Solder them. Looks good. Yep, looks good. Okay, and this is the diode, and I'm sure this goes a certain way. So they're saying bend this around like this, and the directions are saying bend this down like that, and insert it in D1. Now, everything else so far, it doesn't matter what orientation you put it in, the resistors will be the same. The diode does matter, and according to their directions, that's how you do it. So the stripe on the diode goes into that hole. Okay, so let's hold that, bend those out to hold it in place. That's good. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. Looks good. push that tip off a little bit. Okay, take this back out, clip those off. Shoot those little things all over the place. That's always important to do. Okay, now for the resistors. So let's see if I put these on and then put the top board on, I think I can hold them in place with the top board. Of course, there's going to be those old ones are going to be one there. You leave those on. Those are there. Just those. They go there. Hold a little bar. That's what I'm doing. All right. Now, yeesh. This is probably going to be the hard part, I imagine, is getting all these lined up and through this board. So I think I'm just going to tip it up and do one row at a time. It's hard to see. Okay, 2 rows. No, good idea. Actually, I think more to go. So where's my space? Yeah, a little bit in here. Oh, sorry, camera. Right. But this part. And then that part. I mean, I'm sure there's another way to do this, but this is how I'm doing it. At least I think this might work. Let's see. So now that goes down and sandwiches and holds it in place. I think I can do all the soldering and then flip it over and do it. There is extra resistors. That's for these, for that hole that you do later. But I think this might work. So now all I have to do is hold these down. Solder them in. I don't even know if I have to hold them down. Just hold them. Let's see. Let's move this over to this side. Yeah. Let me make sure. I just want to check the bottom as well. Make sure I got everything lined up. That actually looks good. So let's solder a couple and see. I'm going to do one there. I'm going to do one on this side. There we go. Kind of use those to line things up. Hold it there just for a second when I'm doing it, just to get a good seat. Now these ones on the inside might be a little tougher, but this soldering iron should fit in there just fine. Yeah. This is pretty easy kit compared to nice easy kit. Really do a good job putting these together. So just nothing we can do. We'll just do something. We'll put them should be pretty easy now. We'll pretty good. Get it. That look good. That looks good. So now the bottom isn't connected. Remember, the bottom's just that's just resting on there. So I am just going to flip it over. And repeat the process. I don't like how those didn't solder in place very well, but I think fine. Now we gas. This really was a little hard to do like that. There's no room. So just 80% solder and much solder to pull around. You can see the solder jump on these solder around through the so you can put the solder on these solder first and just all right. Let me take a close look there. Those all look pretty good, and those all look pretty good. So we're almost done. Everything's in there nice and neat. If you can see. There's a little bit of gap between circuit boards, but you need room for the connector anyhow, so I'm not worried about that, but everything's lined up. That's a pretty nice little kit. So now you're gonna do some trimming. We need big with a little tip, not just a little bit. These are good. There. Off the ring. Okay, so everything's cut down. Now the last step, let me pull up the directions here, is to jumper the top board to the bottom board. So there's 21,000 ohm resistors. And the jumper wire at W2 on the top PCB only. This jumper PCB, this wire connects the top ends of the parallel resistors to the ground. So W1 and W2, that's these two holes here. And what you do is, I believe they tell you to use an old resistor, put it through, solder it, and solder it on both ends. But let's just make sure. Make sure. Fit jumper wire on the top PCB only. This is my top, so I need a little jumper wire to go from there to there. sure to insert the resistor straight through vertically from the correct hole on the top PC board labeled W0 to the correct hole on the... So there's two more steps. One is there's a little jumper wire that has to go there, right? Nope, W2, W3 on the top board. This is the top board, so I need to go from there to there. That's something I should have done before I put this in, but it's small enough that I think I can. Let me get a pair of needle nose here. So I missed that spot in the directions until afterwards, but so on the top PCB, I need to go through that hole and that hole. Ooh. All right, let me make sure. That says W2 and W3. Fit a jumper wire at W2, W3 on the top board. Let me look at the diagram. That looks to be it. So let's solder that real quick. Good. These little nippers are so small, it's hard to grab the handles. They're cheap. I think I bought these at a ham fest out of a little bin or something like that. But they work. I wanted something small to get in there. So that's done. And now we need to fit the final jumper. To fit a wire labeled from the correct hole in the top PVC labeled 01. So this goes down through here. And out of the opposite hole on the bottom. So, but we don't want that sticking out the whole way. So let me clamp it in my little holder here again. And let me clean this tip off. Give me a nice blob of solder. There we go. Because that'll get cut off. That'll get cut off. You're just using the wire. And then it comes through the bottom. And let me see if I can... Yeah, I can't see the... Yeah. That's right. I'm positive of it. All right. Ta-da! And there it is, the 20-watt dummy load from QRP Labs. Now, let me go get my Let me go get my antenna tester real quick, and we'll test it real quick just to see what it is. Okay, so I got my antenna tester, got my RG174 that I use. What frequency is this on? It shouldn't matter. Let's check SWR. Yep. And it's saying 56 ohms, 55. So that's good. So I should be able to use this as a dummy load now. Like I said, it's for 20 watts. I don't think that's 20 watts continuous. I think that's 20 watts for a few seconds, but I probably won't use more than 10 through this. I'll put a link, like I said, down below to this kit. It took about a week to come in, I think. But yeah, that's a nice little kit. Now, I kind of wish that I had something to, I kind of wish that I had shrink wrap big enough to go over top of this, but I don't think I do. Let me take a look in my bin. So no, this is the biggest shrink wrap I have, and I would definitely need a bigger piece. I kind of wish they would include that in the kit. That would be the icing on the cake, if you ask me, if they had a piece of shrink wrap that would fit over there. I mean, I know you don't want these to get hot or anything, but still, when you're using it, you're gonna have to set it down somewhere, and you don't want anything touching any of these leads. But yeah, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope this encourages you, shows you how easy some of these kits are, and how easy they are to build. And I hope so. I hope it encourages you to get out there and try to build one of these on your own. You can save a lot of money building your own kits. I have another kit that's a power distribution block that all of us are going to be doing as a group build video live stream, and that one was a little more expensive, but it's still cheaper than a pre-assembled kit that you would buy. And it's a fuse kit. It's a nice fuse kit, but yeah, very nice. Yeah, if you're looking for a QRP dummy load, I highly recommend this. It was a very easy kit to build, as you saw. The hardest part was feeding all the resistors through the top hole. They have another way of doing it, but I kind of figured it would be just as easy to do it that way, and it worked out. So, nothing to it. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. This is Tango Oscar Mike saying 73, and take care.
Tango Oscar Mike.